Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Michael Fisher and I'm the Head of Development Finance here at Crystal Specialist Finance. The purpose of today's webinar is to introduce you to one of our key partners on the development finance side. How to find the best off-market sites using PropTech. Development schemes require experts in many fields, and it's a first in a series of introductions today to our key partners who can assist developers with schemes. Our aim is to provide our clients with expert knowledge across different sectors of development and provide professional contacts within the industry. I would like to introduce to you today Oliver Symons, who's a sales manager at LandInsight. LandInsight is a powerful land search and assessment PropTech for professionals. They're a key partner at the first stage of a development journey and provide a streamlined process of finding and assessing off-market land. It brings together the core maps, data and tools needed to source new opportunities and manage them through to completion. But first, before we go to the LandInsight presentation, I would like just to touch on who Crystal Specialist Finance are. We're a master broker who have over 80 lenders on panel across 6 business sectors, including both exclusive and semi-exclusive products and lenders. Dedicated support to the intermediary, including training, BDM visits and ongoing case management and handling. We're multi-award winning and we're a family-owned business with over 200 years collective specialist finance experience. We make specialist finance crystal clear. We understand how specialist finance works and we really do know the true breadth and depth of products available in the market. We know each of the lender's appetite and processes to get the deal done quickly and effectively. We'll explain the process to you, we will hold your hand, we will advise you of the timescales and what's required from you to get yourself and your clients completed and onto the next projects. So we accept anything from adverse credit to low credit scores, tight completion, portfolio finance, overseas borrowers, unusual property types, all income sources considered, even HMOs and older clients who wouldn't normally fit under standard lending criteria. Where can we help with development finance? We can help from all aspects of development finance, from ground ups, heavy refurbishment, build to let, purchasing land with or without planning, bridging, pre-planning, senior debt, stretch senior debt, mezzanine funding. We help across all sectors of development finance. I'm not going to dwell on these too much today because it is about introducing our key partners. But we have got a previous webinar which we're happy to share with you, which will discuss how I can assist with sourcing the most appropriate sort of financing for your needs or your clients' needs. So how it works. Initially, you place an inquiry with one of our BDMs or new business team. Now, if it's development, generally you speak to myself or my colleague Mandy. We then quote an illustration based upon our experience and what we know we can achieve for you. If the illustration is of interest and you're happy to proceed, then it's completion of an application. The next stage is processing, where our processing team will do everything and keep you informed during the whole journey. And then the final most important part is completion, where the client gets what they need, the funds are with them, and we can move on to the next deal together. So here's a case study for you to look at. There's an Hmo conversion, and one of our applicants required development finance to take out the existing finance and raise funds to convert a 4-bed single dwelling into a 6-bed HMO. The rent increased from £600 a month to £2,200 a month over an 18-month facility. 100% of the finance was offered with backup security, second charge on another buy-to-let. It was great because the property was already in the client's portfolio. Income was based on rental and private pension. So the current value was £125,000. The cost of works was £60,000 and the end value of the GDV was £380,000. We had another scenario where a client had built a new property and decided during the build he was going to keep the property and live in it. The lender, being unregulated, wouldn't allow the client to reside in the property and be pushing for redemption. This meant that he couldn't get a residential mortgage as it was a remortgage from development finance for a property he did not live in. We were able to secure a regulated bridging loan for the client, then redeem the development loan. We then arranged a residential mortgage with the same lender as the client had previously been underwritten, and the bridge was paid off within the first month. Loan size was $125,000 and the term mortgage was at 3.49%. Thank you very much for listening to my introduction. I'm now going to introduce Oliver Symons from LandInsight, who's going to talk through their product, what they can do for you developers, for your clients or yourselves directly. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Ollie from LandInsight. Thanks very much for taking the time to join the webinar. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how property professionals are using PropTech to gain a huge competitive advantage. Currently, 97% of property professionals think that technological innovation will impact their business. 73% see this innovation as a huge opportunity. Yet, very surprisingly, 66% don't have a clear vision or a clear strategy as to how they're going to adopt PropTech into their own businesses. In summary, it's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of understanding about how PropTech will affect businesses, your business, and also your competitors. LandInsight, it's a PropTech platform. It streamlines the process of finding off-market sites, assessing them, and managing your deal pipeline. Our data and features are going to help you find the most valuable off-market sites. You're going to spot red flags and eliminate compromised sites without wasting your time. You'll be able to broaden your visibility of new markets, new development types, and new geographies you otherwise hadn't considered. Also, it's going to help you free up time. On average, clients find that site assessment is 80% faster with LandInsight. All these things combined are a huge competitive advantage. Around 1,000 clients use us at the moment, from SME developers right up to the most prominent, Savills, Cushman's, McLaren. Hopefully, that should give you an insight into what LandInsight can do. Now, let's show you how it works. This is the screen that you see when you log into LandInsight. It's an overlay of Google Maps, and at the very top here you'll see the 3 map options that we have, or even 4 map options. Google Maps, satellite, OS if you need the scale, imagery, etc., and then Bing Maps, which has very often better aerial and satellite imagery than Google, slightly more up to date. On the right hand side are the sections of LandInsight, so the 5 main areas. We'll take you through these 5 main areas and the site section at the top left throughout the course of the demo. The first layer to look at is the ownership layer. The ownership layer allows us to see who owns freeholds of buildings. In the bottom left corner here, you'll see the ownership boundary legend, which shows the companies that are red buildings are owned by companies. The sandy colour is a corporate body, the blue colour is local county authority, and the yellow is housing association. By clicking on any site, we can see who owns that freehold. So 30 to 32 Pall Mall in Liverpool is owned by Anvil Construction, and there's their contact details. And by clicking around the map, we can very quickly just see further freehold owners as well. This building here is actually interesting because it's owned by Wallace Estates Limited, as you can see here, but actually we've managed to scrape through some further data sets to show you who the ultimate owner of the company is. So the company that owns Wallace Estates, getting you in front of the right people to contact at any given time. You can filter by parcel size, so if you have an acreage of site that you look for, because you're looking to build out a certain number of units, you can scan any area and only show you the plot sizes, say from 0.73 acres to 1.71 acres, and it identifies those very quickly for you. On the left-hand side of the screen is the ownership search, where you're looking at a portfolio of companies. So for example, I'll use Tesco's, and it's going to display to us everything that Tesco owns in that map area. So we can see the 14 results, which are the 14 leaseholds and freeholds that Tesco's own, and you can filter those by either freehold or leasehold. Likewise, as we said earlier, when we point you to the ultimate owners, it's showing us that Tesco Stores Limited is part of Tesco Holdings, which is owned by Tesco PLC, and by clicking in here, you can see all the subsidiary companies that Tesco PLC own. This is good if you're looking for more opportunities from either people that are currently approaching you to do deals with, if you're buying land from a company, or alternatively, if you hear of a company that may be in distress or selling land, you can find out everything they own and maximise your opportunities. The next layer down is the planning layer. So if you go to the top of LandInsight, select planning applications, this is giving you a visual representation of planning in an area. The bigger the dot is the greater number of residential units that was applied for, and the redder the dot is the more recent the application, as you can see in the bottom left here. You can click on any dot and see what that application represents and when the application was submitted, and you can also filter through to the full application at the council websites just by clicking that button here. Now, that's interesting to understand activity in an area, but to make it more specific to the types of sites that you're either sourcing or developing, you can filter the applications. So let's say you're a residential developer who develops out around 10 homes. You can select residential. I want to see all of the 10 to, let's say, around 30 unit development types that have been in that area. And it will show you those applications here. So 129 applications. I just want to see stuff for the last 2 years. It will show you those applications on the left-hand side. So what you're doing here is returning relevant applications. You can go to them at the pending stage, the approved stage, or the rejected stage, and contact the freeholders or the applicants of the planning application to see if it's something that you can get involved in on that side as well. Finally, on the planning, you can create alerts. Now, alerts are where we scan an area for that number of units and return the results to you every 24 hours. So let's say the whole council boundary of Liverpool, I want to know when there's a 10 to 31 home development that is either submitted, approved or rejected. Our machines overnight will now scan every planning application in that area and return the results to you in the morning, again at the freeholder, the applicant and the type of application, providing you with opportunities. Further down is the planning policy layer. Now, if you're a strategic land purchaser or you're interested in planning policy of an area, LandInsight will be able to show you the environmental constraints that are within the area that you look at. So, for example, there's the flood zone up on the estuary there, protected areas just down the left-hand side and through here, and also we can select conservation areas as well, which shows us the conservation areas on a map. Any site that you find or any site of interest will also specifically tell you all of the environmental constraints that affect that site. On the left-hand side, we can show you the policy surge. So it's a bit of a mess of colours when you click on all the policies, but what we're showing you here are all of the adopted policies from the Liverpool Core Strategy document. So if either you want to be aware of where they are, or you search by them, or even want to stay away from them, it's very clear where they are on this map. You just type each individual policy up here and it will show you exactly on the map where it's represented. Property information is very useful if you're searching for buildings by their use class. So for example, if you convert B1C to Resi or A4, etc., you can very quickly click on buildings, find out the information about them, but also their use class. Just here, the type of property, nearby building heights, etc., if you want to try and get an additional floors on a building that you're looking at. But also, on the left-hand side again, it gets more powerful when you can search properties. So what we're going to search here around Liverpool again is unoccupied, vacant or derelict properties. So we take the council rates data. If they're paying less rates than a fully occupied property, then we assume it's unoccupied, vacant or derelict, and it lists all those properties down the left-hand side. You can zoom to locations to see what they are, so that's just a residential property, but you can also filter by the use class of the property. So let's just say in this area I want to find empty pubs because I might be able to convert those to Resi. Let's just search out a bit more, not too many empty pubs in that area of Liverpool. Then we can find them here. So let's go to 86 West Derby Road and take a look. And we can see it looks like a pretty derelict building on a nice corner plot. And we use our drop-down Google Street View very quickly to have a little bit of a better look at the site. And you see, if you're conversion A4, then that's a potential development site just sat on that corner of Liverpool there, at which point we can go back and find the owners, etc. So let's sort of saving sites. The bottom layer is the comparables layer. Now, what the comparables layer is going to do for us is give us a pounds per square foot readout of any area. So by selecting that layer, it's going to display on the map coloured dots which are showing us a representation of the pounds per square foot price achieved. The darker the dot, the higher the pounds per square foot that was achieved in that area, and the lighter the dot, the lower. You can also flick through up in the top left to give you the actual sold prices of the properties and the sale price history. Click pounds per square foot calculator and select an area that you're looking to develop in, or at least you've identified an opportunity. and it'll tell you the pounds per square foot that was achieved in that area when the property was sold, but also what it's worth today referenced against the UK House Price Index. Now, you can download all those results, so the 144 sales, into a spreadsheet, and it will display the CSV file, so you can just list all of those out in front of you. Now, this is quite handy when you are either doing your own analysis on the financials, or you need to go to the bank and provide them with your figures, etc. for lending. You can use this document, again, to give you all the addresses, the dates in which those properties were sold, the prices, estimated market value, type of property, number of bedrooms, pounds per square foot floor area. So it's basically land reg sold prices, and we get the square footage from the EPC documents. Now, as we click through further, we go into the site section. So the site section is going to display to you all of your save sites. So as you click on a site, the pink button comes up where you can save, or when you produce the list of planning applications, or like when we did with Tesco's, the owners, you can save those sites into LandInsight. So I've saved some Liverpool opportunities here, and this is going to show you how quickly you assess a site using LandInsight. So one of the derelict pubs that we took a look at earlier, or one of the derelict properties, we can go in, it gives us the address of the property up here, and it lists down all of the information that we display about that property on the left-hand side. The summary shows there's been one planning application in the last 6 months. It's owned by AJ Property, currently at A4, and there's no risk of protected land, flood area, or nearby listed buildings, 0.03 acres. So let's click into planning and see that application. You can see October 18, it was conversion of a public house to 3 flats, submitted by JD Estates. We can go into that full application if you want to again. Ownership owned by AJ Property. Let's just check out the company tree. Yeah, you can see it's just them, and it's owned by a majority shareholder, Mr. Dean Gregory, and that's the address at which you contact him. Your pounds per square foot, £103 a square foot as a very quick analysis. Planning policy, let's see what policies affect our site. So we can click in a little bit further and have a look. Environmental constraints, there's one, and it's an environmental impact important corridor, which is absolutely fine. Adopted proposals, it's in a primary residential area, opposite a mixed-use area and industrial on the north side of the site, so good to know. And there's no listed buildings. If there were, it would dot them on the screen and show us the listing status of those buildings as well. Now, you can get all those paper folders off of your desk by saving all your documents or your emails or your planning documents against the site here in LandInsight, and keep up to date and track any records here, so through the activity area, which just acts like a chat box, so all the users can see what's been going with any individual site. Finally, as we created the planning alert earlier, you can do that around your site as well. So what we're asking it to do here is show us any residential applications that are submitted on a neighbouring property, so that if a competing application is submitted, we know about it very, very quickly and can take measures from that point onwards to offset the risk of any competing applications. Now, one last thing I'd implore you all to do if you take a look at LandInsight for the trial is download our mobile app, LandInsight Go. You can find it in the App Store, and that's going to help you assess sites on the go. It'll allow you to locate where you are, take photos of sites, and when you upload the sites through LandInsight Go and come back to the site section, you'll see all your sites that you've seen while you've been out and about, sort of documented here on the left-hand side, as not to forget about any development opportunities that you see or assess while you're out on the move. Thank you for taking the time to watch the webinar and the demo of LandInsight. Hopefully you found it useful, and moving forwards, you're going to be one of the 37% of people that either currently uses PropTech or is soon going to have a PropTech strategy inside your business. If you want a trial of LandInsight, please do click the link below or above or wherever marketing are going to put a link so you can get a free trial, and we'd be more than happy to set it up for you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Of course, you can contact myself if you have any questions. Alternatively, Oliver Symons is your point of contact at LandInsight. Please contact him on the email address showing now. If you do have any questions regarding this webinar, please send them through. Get them reviewed, we'll get them answered, and we'll get back to you. Whether you want a response via email or a quick phone call, we're happy to do so. Our lines are open now, so please just give me a call. Have a great day, and thank you very much for listening.